Hi, hello, and welcome to Freelance Dog Training. This video is going to be about teaching your dog to leave it in just 4 steps.
Leave it.
Good. Once he disengages, say yes. Go ahead and do one re-command.
Leave it.
Yes.
Leave it. Yes, good boy.
Leave it. Good boy. Leave it. Good boy. Yes. Leave it. Good girls. Good job, Wanda. Wanda, leave it. So you see squirrels. Ranger, leave it. Yes. Did not press anything. Good boy. Good job, buddy.
Leave it is probably the most useful command, but it is also the most improperly used command. For example, if somebody says leave it 6 times as their dog stares at a squirrel and the dog never disengages from that squirrel, we're teaching our dogs that leave it means fixate on squirrels, especially if that event happens every single walk multiple times.
Hey, leave it, leave it, leave it. Hey, leave it, leave it. Dog. Hey, leave it. Come on, leave it. Good dog. Leave it, leave it, leave it. Leave it, leave it.
Another example of the improper use of leave it would be if your dog is smelling some trash and you drag them away while saying leave it.
Leave it, leave it, leave it.
Leave it equates to fight the leash to try to get the interesting thing. Repeatedly misusing a command, and especially when that command makes a dog think the opposite of what they're supposed to, is called poisoning a cue. So if you feel like you've poisoned the cue, leave it by saying it a bunch of times without your dog actually disengaging on their own. It might be best that you start using a different command like off or out or break. The concept of disengage is rather abstract and difficult for a dog to understand. Therefore, you need to teach it in easily comprehensible steps, starting with a treat tossing game, then smells and inanimate objects, then concepts and live animals. If I start using leave it for live animals before they accomplish the treat tossing game and smells and inanimate objects and concepts, it's like skipping from middle school football to playing college football.
Alright, go ahead and toss him one. Now do a leave it on this one.
Leave it.
Good. And then say yes right when he looks away from it. Yes.
So let's start off by teaching the treat tossing game. The treat tossing game has 4 steps, so this is steps within steps, like training inception. These treat tossing sessions should be about 5 minutes long, and you should get around 5 to 15 reps each session. A good time to practice this is their mealtime. Instead of just dropping their food in a bowl, play the treat tossing game, and you should complete all 4 steps within 5 to 10 sessions. You start by tossing treats or kibble, and then on occasion, every 3, maybe 5 treats, you block the treat with your foot after you throw it, and you say leave it.
Leave it.
Good boy.
Good boy.
Alright.
Leave it? Yes. Do not say leave it before you toss the treat, because this would equate to us stepping in front of the bunny, saying leave it, and then presenting the bunny. We want the dog to be engaged with the treat, and then when they hear leave it, they start to disengage. So after you block the treat, the moment that your dog disengages from that treat, you say yes and reward them with a treat from your hand. Then you pick up that treat from the ground. They never get the treat off the ground that you just said leave it to right then, because that would equate to you saying leave it to goose poop on the ground, and then your dog picking it up 3 seconds later. Leave it? Yes, good job. Sweet. Maybe I'm speaking too soon, but there's some dogs that will learn this right away. There's some dogs that will try to get that one on the ground for like 5 minutes. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Leave it. Yes, good girl. Leave it. Yes. Good girl. If your dog picks up step 1 really quickly, go on to step 2, which is after they initially disengage from the treat, you continuously reward them with 3 to 6 treats for about 10 to 20 seconds. This is called a rate of reinforcement. A high rate of reinforcement would be 1 treat for every 2 seconds, and it helps set a dog up for success. As they get better, you can decrease that ratio to a treat every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, and so on.
Leave it. Yes. 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 Good.
Yes. So I don't necessarily need eye contact. That's going to be the most rewardable behavior. But what I want for him to do is to disengage with whatever I just told him leave it on. So later on, it will be leave that bunny alone, leave that bicyclist alone, leave that dog alone. But for now, this concept that we're teaching, yes. So again, he disengaged from that. The goal is to reward at a high rate of reinforcement so that your dog doesn't re-engage with that treat on the ground. If while you're tossing treats, your dog hesitates to grab the treat that you just threw, toss a few more freebies in a row before saying leave it, because we don't want to teach the dog to hesitate and ask for permission. We want the dog to engage with the treats that you're dropping until you say leave it and they disengage. Step number 3 would be to give access to the treat after they disengage initially. Good girl. Good job, sweetie.
Leave it.
And then step back. Good. Go ahead and reward him.
Leave it.
Good. And then step back. Good. Give him one, but then don't pick that one up. See what he does. Block him if he goes for it. Give him a treat. Good. Now pick that one up. If they try to get that treat again, say and block them again from getting it.
Yes. Make it look like he can get it. No. Leave it. Yes. Boy. No. Leave it. Yes. Yes. Yes.
And the last step is to implement collar corrections to this game, because we want this to generalize easily to the next step. A collar correction is a snap of the leash that pops their training collar, like flicking them on the neck. You shouldn't drag or pull them away from anything because that causes more frustration. But a leash pop penalizes a decision, while yanking or pulling just restrains the dog from making a decision. If you yank or pull on the leash, your dog will make a bad decision off the leash. I'm just going to demonstrate collar corrections for leave it. So to do this stage of this, you toss side to side at a distance, so that I have some reaction time between when I say leave it and when I correct. And she also has time to hear the command and stop before she gets to the treat. So see how far I'm tossing side to side? I'm going to do it on this one. Leave it. No. Leave it. Yes. Good girl. Yes. Leave it. Yes. Girl. Yeah, that works.
The last stage would be corrections, which is just a pop of the collar, if he doesn't listen to it. I'm using my leash, not my body, I'm not really stopping him, I'm correcting him. So don't pull or yank him away. Leave it. No, no, no. Leave it. No, leave it. Yes. Good boy. No, leave it. Yes. Good boy. Yes. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Leave it. Yes, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy. Woo, yeah, yeah, yeah. I just gave him like all of those. That's called a jackpot reward. Good boy, yes. Good job. Yay, good job, Lucy.
And then say leave it. Yes.
Yes,
good boy. Nope,
No,
not that one. Good boy. Leave that there, and then walk him by it. Good.
Boy.
Walk him by it again. And why yes. Okay, moving moving on to phase 2 or step 2 or whatever it is to use leave it for smells and inanimate objects on walks. What I mean by inanimate objects is trash, goose poop, bags, socks, glass, pine cones, sticks, anything that your dog is about to interact with that you don't want them to.
Leave it. Yes. Good girl.
So if they are engaged with something that they're
Leave it.
approaching,
Yes.
say leave it before they get to
Girl.
the item, then correct if they do get
Job
to it.
on
Try
it.
to have, at a minimum, a half a second between saying leave it and then giving a correction. Because punishment does not work if you don't give the dog an opportunity to avoid the punishment. So it'd be pretty unfair if a dog was about to smell something and I just corrected them and said leave it at the same time. I want to say leave it, then correct if they get to the thing, or if they avoid the thing, mark and reward with a high value treat and lots of praise.
Leave it. Yes. Good girl. Leave it. Yes. Good girls.
Now, if they are already interacting with an object, or they have stopped and they're smelling the same spot for a longish amount of time, say leave it and give at least a half a second before you correct.
Leave it. No. Leave it. No. No. Good. Yes. Bella, leave it. No. Leave it. That was vibrate. No. Leave it. Good.
If they move away from that thing or smell within a half a second to a second, say yes and give them treats.
Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Good. Leave it. Yes.
So every time that you are saying leave it, you are saying yes or no right afterwards. You're not repeating leave it 5 times. You're not pulling the dog away. You're saying leave it and waiting for the dog to disengage. If they do, you reward. If they don't, you correct. Then repeat the command, and when they eventually disengage, you say yes and you reward.
Chaga, leave it. No, leave it. That was the vibrate. Leave it. Good girl. Leave it. Good. Drop. Good. Leave it. Good. Leave it. Good. No. 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 Drop. Good. Leave it. Good. Good. Drop. Good. Leave it. Good girl. Yes. Go get it.
Moving on to the next step is concepts. This is kind of vague, but think of it as if your dog is thinking bad thoughts and you want them to stop, say leave it. So for example, begging at the table for food, staring at the window waiting for something to bark at. Basically, leave it can become stop thinking about what you're thinking about. You can't or shouldn't be doing that thing.
Leave it. Yes. Good boy. Leave it. Good. Leave it. Good girls. Good job, Wanda. No. Leave it. Good girl. Good job. Good job.
And then the last step is applying leave it to live animals. Typically this jump to using leave it for live animals is pretty difficult for dogs, so you need to help them by going back to step 2 of step 1, which is a high rate of reinforcement.
Dog there. Leave it. No, leave it. Yes. Yes. Good. Yes. Good girl. Leave it. Yes. Good job, Chaga. Yes. Good girl. Leave it. Yes. Yes. She didn't re-engage or reward again. Yes. girls. Let's go. Leave it. Yes! Good girl. Good job, Wanda.
So after they disengage, reward multiple times and help them stay disengaged. If your dog re-engages with that animal again, say no, correct, and repeat leave it. We don't want to just get into a game of leave it, good boy, and then they re-engage. Leave it, good boy, and then they re-engage. And they just keep bouncing back and forth from looking at that thing and getting treats from you. We want leave it to mean disengage and stay disengaged.
Leave it. No, leave it. No, leave it. Yes. Good girls. Yes. Good girl. No, leave it. Yes. I've already said leave it to that one. I don't need to keep saying it. And that was her re-engaging with it. She locked onto it for more than a few seconds. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Yeah, good boy. Yeah. Good job, buddy. So he's not too turned in. Let's see. No. Leave it. Casey, leave it. Good boy. Yeah, good job, buddy. Leave it. Yeah, good boy. Good job, Casey. Good boy.
As they get better at leave it, you can decrease your rate of reinforcement. And gradually, you don't have to reward multiple times. You can just praise after your dog disengages. The fifth step, a bonus step, in case your dog needs it because they have triggers. As in, if your dog is reactive and barks and lunges at people or dogs, you can use leave it after you've accomplished easier steps. Because if your dog is nervous about something, saying leave it without them fully understanding that concept can make them more nervous. So if your dog is fearful or anxious about certain things, don't use leave it for that thing unless they fully grasp the concept of leave it. And that's about it. I hope that this video can help you guys understand that leave it is a very useful command, but more often than not, it is used incorrectly by dog owners. So I hope that this explanation and lots of visual aids can help you teach your dog to disengage and leave things alone. So thank you for watching and being a responsible dog owner that looks up how to communicate with the different species that you reside with. Please like and subscribe if you found this video helpful, comment if you have any questions, and have fun training your dog.